What is going on, YouTube? Mr. Flip coming at you with a tabletop review on some phenomenal swim baits that I've been dying to get my hands on and have in my arsenal, and voila, Savage Gear delivered, baby. I'll tell you what, Savage Gear is such a unique company and their swim baits are beyond the best. And I'm not just saying this, I'm saying this from proven facts, you guys. Why I like Savage Gear so much is because the way they structure their swim baits, it's beyond realisticness. Now, a lot of other companies, yeah, they build nice swim baits and so on and so forth, but nothing like Savage Gear, because Savage Gear, as you can see here, does the 3D scan. And the real 3D scan basically brings realisticness into their swim baits, from everything from the color to the detail of the lure. And that just blows all the other swim baits out of the water. Savage Gear really puts their minds to it, really lays everything down on the table and thinks everything out before they do it. And that's what makes their products phenomenal. So what I want to basically do, this isn't just going to be a product review. This is going to be a layout of why I really wanted this arson in my bundle package of swim baits. And I'll go over that here in a bit. But one thing I do want to mention is that if you're really not into swim bait fishing yet, now's the time. Honestly, now's the time to get into it. You know, get out of your comfort zone of cut bait fishing. I personally love cut bait fishing, but swim bait fishing, it's like a sport. It's, you know, once you get into it, it's hard for you to get out. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, it's expensive, the swim baits cost so much. No, go with Savage Gear, you guys. The durability is phenomenal. The price is right on point. And, you know, you're not dishing out, you know, the big $100, $200 on one swim bait. You know, you're able to get yourself a nice bundle pack for under $100 or what have you. Savage Gear is where it's at, you guys. You know, a lot of people try to start off on eBay and order, you know, the knockoff swim baits and stuff like that. Stay away from those. Just go straight to Savage Gear, you guys. And I can guarantee you, from my word and my experience, you will not regret it. So let's just go ahead and jump into this. I'm going to show you some of the items that I got. This is the 3D Roach Shine Glide. And this is actually the smaller version. I own the bigger version, which is right there. You can see the difference in comparison. I have the chartreuse on the top, and now I have, this one is, which one is this? This is, I believe this is just the shad color. I mean, this is the Shine Glide, so yeah, I believe this is the shad color. And it is the smaller version. Why did I want the smaller version? A lot of things that I do when I go swim bait fishing is I'll hit one spot and I will start off with, you know, something like this, a really, you know, big swim bait. And if I'm not getting hit on that, I'll slowly work myself down to a smaller swim bait. And this kind of points out what kind of fish are within the area. So if I'm not getting hit on, you know, the big swim baits, then I'm going to work myself into, you know, a medium-sized glide. If I'm not getting hit on that, then I start throwing, you know, the really smaller swim baits. And next thing you know, I'm hitting a bunch of dinks, smaller fish. What I'll do is work my way through those dinks, and once they stop hitting, start working my way up to the bigger swim baits, or I'll catch a few dinks. And that really draws in attention. When the bigger fish notice that the smaller fish are, you know, under pressure or under stress, then those bigger fish will start coming in. So I'll start working my way back up, and then next thing you know, on the bigger swim baits, you're getting crushed. It's a technique, you guys, it really is. So jumping into this, as you can see, it's a smaller version, about palm size, and I don't have any shad color like within this region right here, the way, you know, the color is. And I figured, since, you know, the shad boils will start picking up pretty soon this year, why not get something like this? And it's the perfect size to throw on shad boils, especially on the lake. I've got a lot of videos of recording the video footage of, you know, shad boils and shad swimming underwater, and you know, this is like the perfect size. You know, those striped bass are gonna go after those littler shads, but once they see this, you know, thrown into that ball of shad, this is something they're gonna want. They're gonna be like, you know what, this is gonna fill me up, less work, boom, hit it, and it's on. So that's one reason I went that route. And then we have this is the Glide Swimmer. And this color, I forget. See, I don't even remember what colors I ended up picking. This one is the Dirty Silver Flash. Dirty Silver Flash, that's right. Another swim bait that I don't have. This color is unique. I'll show you some of the other ones I got here. A lot of swim baits we're used to throwing, you know, trout colors as such. Or I throw a lot of the chartreuse at night because it's more visual, you know. So this would be like my daytime runner and this would be my nighttime runner. Now, with the silver color, I think it's gonna work either way. But what really is nice, let's say on a bright, sunny, clear sky, you throw this, you're gonna get a lot of flash. I mean, you could probably see the flash already. And that draws in attention, especially if the fish are a little bit deeper or if they're just lockjaw. You know, once they see this flash, I'll like to swim this and do a twitch, causing the 360 with the swim bait. And that's just reaction strikes, you guys. So that flash right there is beyond unique. You can see like my trout color doesn't have too much flash to it. It's just, you know, basic solid color. And the chartreuse, it got a lot of flash, but I really like to throw this more at night because in the daytime, you don't know if those predator fish see, you know, a green fish and just gonna be like, you know, that just doesn't look right. So that's one reason I decided to go that color. And a lot of things that I've noticed is striped bass will eat their own kind. And this kind of gives the, you know, appearance as it could be maybe another baby striped bass, and that can cause a bigger striped bass to attack. Jumping into the other swim bait, this is something I've been dying to get my hands on. And this is the smaller version. This is the line through. I'm gonna go ahead and open it just because I love this one so much. My buddy has the bigger version, which is I think it's like 7 ounces. This one is only running me 2 and 3 ounces. So it's not too big, but it's perfect. And we have an area on the river where we go fishing and we see shad, gizzard shad about the same size as this. We've seen them bigger. And so I figured, you know what, I'm gonna go the smaller version and give it a run and see how it does. These things cast mild. It is a soft bait, swim bait. And this is the line through model. So what basically you do is you run your line through the mouth there and it comes out either on the bottom or on the top. And Savage Gear got really unique with the way they did this. You can see instead of placing your hook inside of your bait, which causes a lot of rips and stuff like that. So instead of placing that hook inside the bait, let me see if I can get here. Instead of stabbing that hook inside that bait, what they did was you have a twisted wire like so, and now this connects into the pocket on your bait. So let me go ahead and try to get where you can see it. So there's a pocket there, and it goes just like that. Your line will go in the mouth and come out of that hole and tie right onto your line. And what's awesome about the line through systems, you guys, is once you get hooked up, the bait rose up to the top of your line and all the fish is stuck on is on this hook. So there is no way for that fish to use this bait to shake off or use the bait as weight leverage. So I can't wait to throw that. I'm very excited to get that one out in the water. Let's go ahead and pump these off to the side. Another big swim bait that I actually like. Now it's not the giant one. It's not too big, but it's perfect. A lot of you guys seen in some of my recent videos that bass are starting to really feed on the bluegills within my lake area. And I actually caught a smallmouth bass. Wasn't too big, but it did spit up some bluegills. And there we go, a little smallmouth. And that is what it spit up. That's crazy. And I was, I don't have any kind of swim baits that are in the bluegill pattern or whatnot. Savage Gear did really awesome with this one as well. This is another soft bait, swim bait. Oops. As you can see there, So it is a soft swim bait, and what I like about the soft swim baits is once a fish hits it, it's more like realistic to the fish. So instead of a fish, a fish coming in and hitting this swim bait, feeling the hardness as they would on a regular hard swim bait and spitting it, they hit this and they feel that squishiness, and that causes them to really, try to gulp it down. Savage Gear did really awesome with their hookup system. You can see they got a hook system on the top and the bottom right there. And those basically plug right into the bait. Let's see if I can get it for you guys. There you go. So it plugs right into the bait, and that is another plus. The fish cannot use the bait as leverage. So you can see the fish, once they bite, they hang on to that hook and they can't use that bait as leverage. Now it's not like the line through where the fish loses all of the swim bait's weight, but it does give you a definite plus to where that hook, the hookup ratio is really good. Another thing that I've seen people do is run a trailer line. So you can tie a line on here and run a light line to the back, and then use a back hook for those other fish who tend to just tail nip at bluegills. So you can do, kind of like the BB rig. A lot of you guys know how to do the BB rig on Huddlestons. You can kind of do the BB rig on this. However, you're going to want to let that line be a little bit more looser, just so you don't mess with the swimming action. What we got next? Oh yes, check out this toad. A lot of people are like, man, is that for the ocean? No, definitely not. This is the panic popper that Savage Gear made, and this thing is the 195. This thing is a tank. Like I said, a lot of people are real sketchy on throwing real big baits, and when I first started, I was too. I really didn't want to get into throwing these big old huge baits, because then you got to upgrade your fishing setups. You got to go heavier rods, heavier reels that can handle bigger baits, and also you got to go with more heavier line. But once you progress and you start upgrading, you're going to start noticing, you're going to start buying stuff like this. They say the bigger the bait, the bigger the fish. And I do stand by that. I honestly do. Now, you'll catch smaller fish on these bigger baits. I promise you that. We've done it. We've caught fish that were less, half the size of some of these baits. But the panic popper, this thing is phenomenal. I've seen videos on it, but I have yet to use one. But look at that. Look at the indent on the inside of this mouth. You know that thing's gonna kick up some water. This thing is really good for shad foils or drawing fish from real deep under. You guys can tell the hooks are really big, but it really don't matter. All it takes is for that fish to hit this once, and they're definitely gonna hook on. So, but yeah, that's the panic popper. Comes with a swivel in the inside, so you can see. And it being a bigger bait, that allows you for, the leverage. Once the fish get on there, you don't have to worry about that twisting action of the fish while you're ripping it up against the water or what have you, and then you start getting line twist. Savage Gear was real creative with putting a swivel, really heavy swivel on the inside of that. And line twist, I'll tell you what, if you're running a bait caster, line twist sucks. It causes so many issues, within, your fishing experience. So trust me, Savage Gear really thought this out when they did the swivel. And that's also going to give you some walking action and popping action. So look at the inside of that thing, you guys. I got big hands, and look at this. I can literally, it's like a thumb imprint, and it goes deep. So pretty awesome. I am stoked. I'm not going to drag this video out too much, but there's some of the items that I was really excited to receive, and I can't wait to get out and throw these, you guys. I should be, you're gonna see me throwing these here pretty soon. And I actually want to throw some other stuff on the table. A lot of you guys seen, I did a product review on the Suicide Duck, the Rad Rat by Savage Gear, and Savage Gear, I'll tell you, look at the realisticness of their swim baits, you guys. Crazy, right? Awesome swim baits. Look at, this is the Ghost line through trout. Really nice. And as I told you, we throw those bright colors at night. We were actually being stalked on the Colorado River with lightning trout, and this thing was getting crushed. I have a buddy who was catching them left and right on this thing. Then Savage Gear also makes, you know, the solid boot tails. This is what I was talking about with the BB rig. Basically, you run a wire down the back, and then now you got yourself, you know, a treble hook set up like so. That's what I will probably be doing with this. So, oh yeah. Then we got the smaller line through, and so on and so forth, and much, much more. But as I stated, if you're starting to get into swim bait fishing, you guys, I'm telling you, go Savage Gear. Look at the realisticness to Savage Gear. I'm not going to throw any other swim baits up on here to do a comparison from another company, but you can see the realisticness from Savage Gear, you guys. I mean, look at the details. This is like my favorite. Look at this. See the realisticness? Look at these. Everything is so realistic, and that's what fish are looking for. You know, if you are in a pressured area where people are throwing, you know, the same type of swim baits and stuff, I guarantee you, throw something out like this that is so realistic, it's gonna get crushed. It is, because fish are smart. Trust me, they really are. Unless they're on a feeding frenzy, they are smart. They will notice, you know, something that doesn't look realistic to them, and they won't touch it. So, I really like this color too. Look, that's like, it almost looks like a striper color. You know, like a striper is, you know, popping off. I mean, this thing's gonna be popping off the top, and it's gonna look, you know, like striper boils. It'll draw an attention. What I'll probably do with this as well, I'll throw this out there and start causing a whole bunch of chaos, a whole bunch of noise, and you know, the other stripers are gonna look at it and be like, okay, this striper's boiling on something, and then maybe I just might come in and throw something like this right after it, and then boom, this gets hit, you know, because that's gonna make it looked like, you know, this thing was popping off on shad boils, and then this is probably the last shad on the top, and then, you know, voila, that's how it works. You got to get smart with it. You got to get, you know, a technique down, and that's how I do it, you guys. I continuously just throw a whole bunch of different things until I figure something out that works, and the way I explain it is what works for me. You know, like I said, I'll throw small swim baits and work my way up to bigger ones, and then vice versa, and come back down. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up for this review. Oh, I gotta put all these away now. Much love and respects to you, Savage Gear, Okuma. You guys rock, man. Straight up, there ain't nothing else, you know, that can top what you guys do in the swim bait, and also in all the other products. You know, there's nothing that's gonna top it. Okuma with, you know, their fishing rods, their reels, Water Wolf with their underwater cameras, Savage Gear with their fishing lures. I'll tell you, these companies are phenomenal. They got it on point, and as I stated, they really lay everything down on the table and think it out and know exactly what us anglers want. That sums it up from here. I'm up and out. Much love and respects to you guys, and peace.